Hello and welcome to my second video for January 2018. My name is Dana of Dana's Spirit Butterfly, and these videos are really just little channeled musings from Spirit to inspire you hopefully to greater wisdom and greater knowledge for yourself, but also greater curiosity. It's funny, as I sit here, you'll notice last week, or rather last video, I was in a friend of mine's garden and it was really magical and magnificent. It was very sunny. And today I'm in a different place, of course. I'm still enjoying my gypsy life and have the fortune to stay with another friend. And here at this other friend's place, it's been raining today. And I'm really loving the fact that the last couple of days there's been a lot of changing weather. And the changing weather patterns lately, since I've been connecting more with my spirit self, connecting more with my natural self, I've realized that we as human beings tend to shape and change our environment so much. I mean, climate control, what is with that? You know, we're constantly looking to acclimatize ourselves to this constant working environment, this environment where everything is perfectly aligned and everything is balanced. When it's too hot, we put on the air conditioner. When it's too cold, we put on the heating. When it rains, we bundle up and we stay inside. And when it's sunny, well, in Australia at least, we tend to slop on sunscreen or at least stay inside because we're too scared we're going to get skin cancer. And so all of this manipulation that we do with the external environment is crazy. And I often wonder what it says about our internal world. Of course, understanding that whatever happens in the external world often happens in the internal world. So today's theme for the channel, or rather, it's part channel, part story from me, because that's apparently the way that we're rolling now with Spirit. And they want me to first start talking essentially of the fact that Venus is very present on the planet at the moment, the energy of Venus. And the reason why this is important is because a lot of issues are coming up around love, or a lot of themes are coming up around love. And specifically today, they're asking me to talk about unrequited love. Now, of course, the Venus energy is quite profound in so much as there's a very feminine energy, but I understand that it's linked very much with the Plutonian energy, which Pluto is very gung-ho and very passionate and very determined, but it also takes no prisoners. So if we're combining this beautiful feminine energy with this beautiful or very robust Pluto energy, what we're essentially getting is a lot of women are starting to feel betrayed by men, and a lot of women are starting to feel the pangs of love that just didn't work out for us. And so on that note, we are talking today about unrequited love. Now, a friend of mine sent me a poem earlier today. I really love her work. She's definitely spirit inspired. And after I read the poem, I was quite sad about it. And I realized that the reason why I was quite sad about it is because the poem told a story about two souls who meet, and when they meet, there's all this chemistry, but they never make the choice to step forwards together to build anything of it. So it starts to die off, and eventually they find mates elsewhere. And the reason why I found that sad is because in that moment, the speaker of the poem was suggesting that it was done, that the opportunity had gone. And I found that quite sad, because I sat in the moment of that feeling, and it really hurt me. It started to bring up some of my own past issues of relationships that had ended, and that heartbreak, you know, that's associated with the momentary loss of someone who you'd previously connected with. And so I kind of sat with that energy, and I was like, because my girlfriend said to me, Dana, it actually isn't that sad, really. And I was like, well, okay, if I sit in the moment of the feeling of the expression of the now, and if I assume that life doesn't change and evolve and travel and expand as we move forwards into new possibilities, then yes, it is quite sad, but this is quite a finite version, essentially, of the rendition of the poem. So instead, when you reread the poem and when you reread the story of love that's unrequited, sometimes you actually do find some remedy in the feeling that we are constantly omnipresent, we are constantly in a passage of growth, we are constantly on a journey, and life does not stop and cease just because love does not work out with this particular partner. So when I sat with this idea and this energy with Spirit today, they gave me some notes. So let me just start to work through the notes. Firstly, you know that when love is unrequited and things aren't really working out for you, and there's always this suggestion of that there's plenty of fish in the sea for you. And, you know, I used to really hate that because I'd be like, no, but this was so meaningful. This experience with this particular man was so meaningful to me that I don't like the idea that he would be easily replaced. And so, and also that I could be so easily replaced. I mean, who cares about him? What about me? And in that, you know, I realized that in many ways that whole feeling of betrayal that comes up from unrequited love is because that, yes, there may be plenty of fish in the sea, but there's only one me. And so there's a part of me that feels betrayed because he hasn't acknowledged that there's only one of me, and therefore, because there is only one of me, I must be intrinsically valuable. And so what happens is we start to take what should be a contract, a decision between two people, to decide whether or not they want to move forwards or not move forwards together in a shared experience. We start to personalize this experience, and we start to sit with this idea that the love unrequited actually is more about a devaluing of me. And that is quite a sad concept. It's also quite a limited view of what is you are and what we are and what we're about here on this planet. You know, when we come down in physical incarnation, yes, we're separated from source. So naturally in our physical bodies, we feel separated. We feel the density of our brain. We feel the density of our body. We feel the density of the fact that I can only touch someone by reaching out and touching them. Of course, this is not entirely true. You can energetically be in other people's spaces without being physically present. Of course, it's considered socially rude, or it should be considered socially rude to do that energetically as much as physically. And when you understand how this works, you'll realize that when you've got someone who's thinking about you and you don't want their energy in your space, it's kind of a little bit invasive to have their energy in your space. And this is why I'm such a big advocate of daily cleansing and clearing in the morning, and releasing any energy that doesn't serve you, and calling back to you any energy you may have inadvertently given out to others, so that you maintain your energetic space and can take responsibility for that. But yes, I'm getting off track. Thanks, Spirit. With regards to unrequited love, we do tend to take this personally. And the challenge with that is that when love does not work out, often we start to see this as an equation that means that I must not be worth loving. And in the moment you may feel that, but if you were to adjust yourself to sit in a more omnipresent view of yourself, if you were to more or less sit in the space of, I'm a soul constantly in a journey, and my whole journey interacts with a whole lot of beings and a whole lot of energetic, magnetic, attractive others, and that there are energy grids that pull and push us away and towards people who are resonant matches to us, then all I need to do is understand that it's not me who's lacking value, and it's certainly not him that's lacking value. It's just that we are conscious human beings choosing or not choosing to stay together with our free will for whatever reason that is personal to us. And we need to respect and honour that. I respect and honour that for him, and he needs to respect and honour that for me. And when we do that, then we understand that a relationship is a co-created experience where we both need to actively be choosing to be there and actively choosing to participate on whatever level that we're available to at that time. And so sometimes when love does not work out, sometimes it's just about timing. Sometimes it's just that you're in a different place and he's in a different place, and there's chemistry and there may be soul lineage to share, and you may be able to have visions of the beautiful children that you're going to have together, and you may fall into that beautiful dreamscape of building the dream, which we all do. In fact, I'm a romantic person, so of course I do it a lot. But the challenge with that is that I have to live with me now. I have to be present with me now. And so when I do that, and when I tend to glorify what's potentially there, and I don't really sit down with myself and go, okay, so what is actually here? What can I work with right here and now? Then I start to feel heartbroken, and I start to feel like what he's done is, by deciding not to be with me, or by it not quite working out, for whatever reason, that this actually is undermining all of that beauty and all of that potential, when in actual fact it's just that. There are actually plenty of fish in the sea, and you are extremely valuable, and the spirit world knows this. They won't allow you to be in a relationship with someone who cannot give you the space for the growth that you need to fulfill your purpose. And so sometimes when it doesn't work out, it's got nothing to do with you. Sometimes it's actually got to do with the bigger picture. Sometimes there's something that you need to learn about yourself that you can't learn while you're under the safety umbrella of that person's love. And so in many ways, and I feel that this is true, and certainly in my readings with a lot of people, this has been coming up as true. I know that we as creatures of evolution are evolving this idea of what love means for us. Gone are the days where we see the woman in the kitchen and the man who just goes to work and pays the bills. Gone is the sole woman's role, the child carer, and the man's sole role is just to provide the physical, financial security for the relationship. We are stepping now into these more equal ideas, and I use the term equal lightly because let's face it, as a woman, my hormonal system is balanced differently. My brain is wired differently, and so in terms of the way I need to be my natural self moving forwards, even in my evolutionary self heading forwards, it's about me honoring my individual journey and understanding that as a soul, my experience is so much more valuable than any other relationship could ever be. And relationships are shifting things anyway, in so much as your main love relationship would have been with your mother when you were first born. And for some of you, that relationship may not have been easy and it may not have been smooth. And so even back then, you were learning how to love yourself. Even back then, you were given an opportunity to ask yourself the question, what am I worth and where do I find my value? Unfortunately, as kids, because this is new for us, when we're young in souls, in physical bodies, we have to learn how our bodies work, and we have to merge that beautiful divine energy and all of that wisdom, that beautiful divine wisdom that we all have access to at birth. We have to allow this to integrate within the physical. We need to allow this to manifest in a physical way so that we can continue to explore our growth as souls. And so the needs that you had as a child are different to the needs that you have as an adult. But quite often when you meet and fall in love with someone and that person has let you down and that person has betrayed you, what comes up in terms of energetics, all the betrayal and all the anger and all the frustration and how dare he cheat on me, all of this stuff, quite often it doesn't really have so much to do with the current person that you're having an experience with. Quite often it has more to do with some of the residual energy you're still carrying from all of the incidences of love that have taught you about yourself in the external world. And so the answer always is 100%. When it's not to be, then it has to be me. So from that perspective, if it's not working out for you in love in a relationship, then use that as a beautiful opportunity to sit with yourself, know with yourself, and see where the growth can be in love. Because everything is always about love. It's always about finding the love. And I know for some of you, particularly if you're still sitting in your physical self, if you're still sitting in the fight or flight response, you'll find that is quite difficult to sit and listen to. And I totally understand because I so was there before, but I'm really pleased to know, to experience the world when I'm not just sitting in fear all the time, when I'm not worrying about where my next paycheck is coming, where I'm not worrying about whether or not I get food in my mouth today. I've been there, I've done that, it got quite bad, and now I'm on the other side, and I'm beautifully blessed with an abundance of friends and family, and it's crazy since I've stepped into that space of, okay, there's nobody there who's going to support me. I need to know that I can support myself in a way that allows me to still be open to others and open to experience. It really has made the difference to be able to step into myself and to allow myself more space in my own life. And so whenever I can't find what I need in the external world, I find me. And that essentially is the message today for Unrequited Love. Yes, I'm just going to check my notes to see if there's anything I didn't cover. Awesome. Yes, we always hope to be fulfilled by someone else. But the challenge for that type of thinking is that when I hope to be saved by someone else, there's a part of me that's when I hope to be fulfilled by someone else in a relationship, I'm also hoping to be saved by someone else because there's a perception that there's something within me that's missing. And so from that perspective, a really great practice, particularly with this beautiful Venus energy around at the moment, is self-acceptance, is to find the beauty within and to allow yourself to feel pleasure. You know, if you're going to feel a little bit emotionally out of whack, by all means, go and buy that chocolate bar. But if you're going to sit down and eat it, take pleasure in the experience of it and allow yourself to experience the hormonal release that comes with pleasure. Don't attach to the chocolate bar, of course, but understand that you're able to receive pleasure, and it's important to be able to do that with or without other people. So, yes, I know there's more, but I don't believe we're going to share that in this video because this video is already long enough. So thank you very much for listening. I'm Dana of Dana Spirit Butterfly, if you haven't listened to me before. Of course, I'm trying to build a YouTube channel and I'm still pretty new at this. So if you enjoyed today's video and you found it of value, I will ask you to please share it and please like it. And otherwise, and subscribe, of course. Apparently subscription is a thing. Otherwise, I love you guys. I'm available for readings this week, next week, and regressions. For some reason, there are some regressions that need to be done right now. So feel free to contact me if you've got any questions about what that means and what that could mean for you. Okay, I love you. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you.